guys? Welcome to Dock Talk. I'm your host, Owen Jones. We have the co-host over here, Jason Parrott.
How you guys doing today?
So today we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about the Flex floating modular dock system. Those of you that don't want to hear about it can stop listening now.
Just shut us off. It's fine.
But it's probably good information if you're considering it, even if you don't own it, because we're going to cover the different anchoring methods of the system and kind of best practices. So if you go on our site, you'll see under docks, the new floating dock line. You'll notice that we also have complete dock packages that have the pipe guides included, and they illustrate where you should put them, ideally. That is going to be probably the most common application.
Yeah.
If you're from 0 feet of water depth to 8 feet, that's going to be your best option. One thing to consider, though, when you're thinking about 8 feet is, how high does your body of water get at its peak? Typically in June, end of May, June, somewhere in that range.
The fluctuation's a big deal.
Yeah, if you're at 4 feet, but it goes to 10 feet, then we have a problem. So just be mindful when we say 0 to 8 feet, that is like the maximum height it gets to is 8 feet. For those of you above that, we don't have any good solution. No, I'm kidding. That said, for those of you that can't use a pipe guide, and to be fair, we talked about this. We were just talking floating versus stationary. One of the things that affects people's ability to do a pipe guide is what their sediment is, right? So in Canada, we talked about it has a lot of boulders
And rocks. There is no augering in those.
You could have a 6 foot of depth maximum and normally be able to use, the pipe guide, but not be able to because you can't auger because the sediment is, rock. So that's something to consider as well. If you don't have a lake bottom or a pond bottom, river, whatever it is that allows you to auger pipe in, then that's obviously not going to be a good option regardless of depth. And once again, we don't have a solution. No, I'm just kidding. We do have a solution for that as well. So we have two options when you get above that 8 foot, of depth in the variance. The first is crisscross anchors. So each flex float, in fact, every flex float in the corner has a crimped
molded anchor point, essentially.
Anchor point. Thank you.
Which takes in a D-ring, stainless steel D-ring that allows you to attach to it.
So you can attach chain to it, or we have a rope ratchet.
Chain, cable.
Specifically for this cable, whatever is easier, whatever makes the most sense for you. And then, obviously, when you put the anchors in, the intent is that you crisscross them so that you don't get that lateral movement. One downside to crisscross anchors is you got to keep that anchor line tight, which means something like our rope ratchet is ideal, or something that you can adjust.
Yeah,
so
don't
you can
just
give it slack or tighten it up, or
don't clip it to the exact length at that time. Anticipate the water.
Fluctuating.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Otherwise, it could float away, right? If you get a little rain, you say bye-bye. For those of you that are worried about that or are uncomfortable with that option, we also have. Actually, what I'm going to use at my house, which is, what do we call it?
Shore arm anchor.
Okay. We'll stick with that name for now. Fixed arm. It's been a dozen different names that we reference it.
Names out there.
Essentially, it's 3 pipe, one center that is smaller diameter than the other two, and you can, adjust the length you want it to be, and it becomes like a fixed arm stanchion.
Yep. You have a stanchion at Shoreline. Yeah. These are used in pairs, and they are installed at an angle, which doesn't allow the dock to move
You
side
don't want
to
to be
side.
totally perpendicular to shore.
Right.
You want to have an angle, a slight angle,
Slight
in or out. It doesn't matter which way.
Yep.
And at least two of them. With only one, it's still going to be free to move back and forth. So, as far as like the shoreline anchoring, you can auger it.
Yep. I would say ideally you'd want to, if you can do a concrete install, bake a quick
Like
crete.
quickcrete with like fence posts.
Yep,
I mean, you're only going to
something
do
like
it. You only should be doing it once. So, that's what I'm going to do is the quickcrete just so it's done.
We also have a bracket set if there is a seawall situation that would allow you to attach to a wall or concrete pillar, whatever might be in place there.
Yeah. Yeah. So those of you in like intercoastal, that's usually what I think of when I think of seawall. Although a lot of the lakes in like Florida, there's a lot of seawalls there as well. But in any case, we have the same system will work if you have like a
structure in place to attach to.
You'll be able to attach to it, and I would say, for those that want to leave this system in, that want to leave Flex in, personally, I think the fixed arm, whatever he just called it, is a better option because there's no pipe directly in the water in the way of ice hitting it. I just think of like pipe guides. Yes, the floats certainly can handle the ice, and they will, ride over the top of a sheet of ice coming by during a spring thaw. But obviously, the pipe can't avoid it. So you could have take some damage potentially from, the inertia of that sheet of ice hitting the pipe. Whereas if you do this fixed arm stanchion, it prevents that from happening.
Yep.
So. That's something to consider, especially if you're one of those people that want to do the flex specifically because, hey, I don't have to move it in and out. Let's do that. I would recommend you go with the fixed arm, which is why I'm doing it. I also think it's a great system. So, I mean,
fantastic. Yeah.
Jason spent a lot of nights chewing his tongue designing it, sketching.
A lot of red lines.
A lot of sketches, a lot of weight calculations. But yeah, that's basically the three primary methods. So from 0 to 8 feet, to recap, from 0 to 8 feet, your standard pipe guides that we have the one-click buy set up on our website, that's going to be the easiest option. 8 feet and greater, you can do crisscross anchors. And finally, 8 feet and greater, you can do the fixed arm, whatever Jason called it. And you don't have to worry about
shore arm anchor.
Thank you, shore arm anchor.
And one thing to keep in mind when we're talking about pipe length, that's what we offer is up to 8 feet. If you have a situation where the water depth is 10 feet, our pipe guides accommodate 2-inch diameter pipe, so you don't have to buy the pipe from us. If you have hardware store locally that can cut and sell you 12-foot pipe, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon, but we're just talking as far as what's available from us and our dealer installers as well, if you're utilizing one of them as a resource for the install.
So that's new this year, by the way, guys. Dealer installers, those of you that have followed us for any length of time know that we've always been a DIY system. And certainly that's still where we cut our teeth, but we are not naive to the fact that there's people that either physically can't install it or don't have the time or don't want to and would like to hire a professional, and we totally can relate with that. So we is maybe a little generous. Jason's been diligently working on getting those dealer installers onboarded, up to speed, and ready to install the product, and they'll offer, I think pretty much all of them will offer the whole line of products, right? It's
absolutely.
not just Flex.
It'll be the entire line.
So if you do want our OG system, they can also help install that, which is great. But I think that, be on the lookout. We have it's like Prolo Finder. So if you go on our website, you can search by your zip code. It'll give you the closest options to you. If you have an installer, a full service installer near you, it'll have, what do we call it? Installation, I think is what Pro installation. Yeah, Pro install is what we reference in all caps in the beginning. That just tells you that is a full service dealer, like a one-stop shop. You call them, this is what I need, and they'll price it out and they'll install it for you. They'll do A to Z. As you can imagine, there's a lot of markets in America, and a lot of these installers, geographically, they're not servicing huge areas, maybe like 40 to 60 miles at the most.
Yeah, not much more than that.
So I say that because, we're limiting how many we sign up this year so we don't have inventory issues, and so that your experience and their experience is really good with us. But that also means that there's going to be a ton of markets that we don't have a good solution for you yet. If you're one of those people that doesn't want to install it and you're making your decision based on that, I would encourage you to email us, your market, where you are, and I would be surprised if we couldn't find a solution for you for a specific job. Obviously, our intent would be to find a long-term partner in those areas. So.
And if you're watching and you happen to be a service provider, similar to what we're describing, feel free to reach out to us.
We have a become a dealer area on the website. Of course, you can obviously subscribe to our YouTube page. We encourage that. In fact, subscribe. Email us info@tommydocs.com. Obviously, our website is tommydocs.com. And as always, we thank you guys for watching. Stay safe on the water.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.